On Thursday, August 14th, 1765, a market day, Bostonians woke to an effigy of Andrew Oliver, the appointed stamp officer for Massachusetts, hanging in Hanover Square from a large elm tree, soon to be christened the Liberty Tree. The carefully choreographed scene was strewn with puns and comical references. Hanging nearby the effigy was a boot, a play on Lord Bute, a former British Prime Minister, with a little devil peeping out and thrusting the stamp officer with an horrid fork. The soles of the effigy's shoes were painted green, a reference to sitting Prime Minister George Grenville, and a note attached to it featured the couplet, "How glorious is it to see a stamp officer hang on a tree." The whole scene was interactive as well. Farmers who came to market that day participated in the charade by having the effigy stamp their goods as they passed by, poking at the Stamp Act, 1765, recently passed by the British Parliament to tax various forms of stamped paper across the North American colonies. Much to the delight of one account, the effigy hung to the view of the joyous multitude the whole day. Another chronicler wrote of the vast number of spectators who were immediately inspired with a spirit of enthusiasm that scarce any could attend to the task of day labor. The day continued into the night, as leaders in the crowd cut the effigy down, laid him out, and carried in triumph amidst the acclamations of many thousands who were gathered together on that occasion. The joyous multitude then made its way to what they thought was the stamp office lately erected on Oliver's Dock, and used all the wood this building afforded to burn the effigy on top of Fort Hill. Fittingly, the night ended with an attack on Andrew Oliver's house, which stood nearby. Hindsight reveals the events of that day to be the first in a series of jubilant and rowdy colonial protests, marking the rising tensions between the North American British colonies and the British metropole, the imperial crisis for the British Empire that would erupt a decade later in the Revolutionary War. The day's events also demonstrated that the joyous multitude played a central role in the events that comprised the American Revolution.